What is up? What is up? What is up, everybody? Welcome to the 13th day of free agency. And yeah, we're gonna keep this thing rolling because more news is coming out. Definitely some things to talk about today regarding Hassan Reddick. We have the shakedown tonight, so we'll be having 2 streams today. But it's gonna be one of those. I mean, look, reports are coming out as of right now, but I think it's things that we already kind of know at this point regarding Hassan Reddick. So besides, we signed. So the Eagles today, free agency, they did sign Will Greer, quarterback. That was with This was a Kellen Moore signing. Obviously, used to be a Cowboys quarterback. Most likely, so we have 4 quarterbacks right now on the roster. Looks like that Greer might be taking Tanner McKee's spot as of right now. Obviously, Kenny Pickett isn't going anywhere because they traded for him. So it looks like it will be Jalen Hurts, Kenny Pickett, and Will Greer. Once I think, unless Tanner McKee balls out and Greer does horrible, I don't know. I guess we'll see in the near future what happens. But want to say to everybody, what's going on in the chat, everybody? Losi's a big fan of Eagles. 24 season better. Eagles pay Hassan. Stay Eagles draft Georgia and Alabama and Texas. Yeah, man. Like, I've been saying this. I've been saying this nonstop. I don't know what's going on with the situation, but I'm telling you, on a Super Bowl, you're trying to contend for a Super Bowl, and you don't see teams do this shit. And if teams ever do this, it's definitely not helping them at some point. Unless Reddick is being, non-negotiable and Reddick is being a dick, then it's a whole different story. Okay? Then it's a whole different story at the end of the day. But this, it is what it is. I mean, it's not good. It's not good. It's not looking good right now, but it could be bad. It could be good. I don't know. The more quiet this Reddick thing is, I don't know if it's a good thing. It's a bad thing, but I guess we'll find out. What's going on, Suo? What's going on, Deep Space? James Odell, what's going on, dude? Suo, what's up, man? Aiden, what's going on, man? Shrek, what's going on, dude? Jim, Angry 500. What's going on? Billy 500 pounds. What's going on, man? Your boy Pizza. Why do we need to replace Haas if he traded? Who do we need to replace Haas if he's traded, or do we trust our? That's the whole thing. Like, your room gets worse. Your room gets worse when Reddick's not there. That's what I'm saying, dude. Like, that's what maybe some people are thinking. Like, if they get rid of Hassan Reddick, like, whatever the number is, because I don't know if it has to do with money. Part of it could be their past negotiations, and maybe they just, the Eagles are not getting the right compensation. Or maybe Reddick should just nut up, pay what he needs to get paid, obviously get paid more, but not get paid that much more, and play out the rest of his contract for this year and go work for another contract after this year. You know what I mean? So that's where I'm kind of going with this whole thing right now. I mean, there was a report from Jay Fowler today, actually. Today. So on top of the Will Greer news, and like I said, I appreciate everybody in the chat today joining up on the stream today. Thank you so much. 234 in the chat. Make sure you subscribe to the channel. Make sure you like the video, like the stream. Thank you so much. Yeah, we'll get to the other news as well regarding L'Jarius Sneed and all that. I just want to kind of move this over quick and then kind of get this going. All right, so here's the report, which I'm going to read up quick. The report on Hassan Reddick today. Why is my menu being like this? There it is. So here's a report from Jay Fowler. Appearing on SportsCenter on Saturday morning, ESPN's Jeremy Fowler report on expectation around the NFL. Reddick will eventually be traded. With the Arizona Cardinals and Atlanta Falcons side as potential landing spots, the expectation league-wide is that he is moved at some point. The Eagles went at and spent on Bryce Huff. They re-signed Josh Sweat. Well, they restructured him. They didn't re-sign him. So they have their 2 pass rushers. Reddick appears to be the odd man out. He does want a new deal, but this is a premier guy that should have value. He wants a new contract plus the draft capital that is going to take to get him. Arizona could be a team to watch because Jonathan Gannon was with him 2 years ago in Philly. They had good production together. Arizona needs pass rushers, Atlanta to an extent, so there should be teams in the mix. So that's where we're at with this whole entire thing with Reddick. So you're looking at the Atlanta Falcons, you're looking at the Cardinals. I'm just shocked that Howie, seriously, this is unlike Howie, unless this is Hassan Reddick being a fucking dick. Okay? This is Hassan Reddick being an asshole. Not an asshole because he deserves more money. But this is why he's not staying with the team is because of Reddick. I don't think it's really Howie. I mean, it might be. I don't know. Maybe Howie's a bigger dickhead. I have no idea. But I don't think that's the case. I don't think so. It's alarming a little bit. What's going on, TL? TL Hopkins, super chat. He says, I talked to Isaiah Rodgers last night on live. He says he's confident he's going to start. I mean, yeah, dude. I mean, look, I think every player should say that, regardless. I feel like he can. I feel like he'll start on the inside. Tyler Hall is a very, big underrated corner that we signed from the Raiders. With limited snaps, he's almost top 3 in a lot of categories as a cornerback. Depending what happens with Bradbury is going to be interesting. If he's staying, which it may look like right now, then which direction do you kind of go? If it wouldn't shock me if Bradbury's staying with this defense. It just doesn't shock me, but Isaiah Rodgers is a really good corner and an even better special teamer, to be honest. But appreciate the Superman. I feel good. I feel pretty good about I feel really good actually. I feel really, really good about Isaiah Rodgers going into the season, no doubt. Yeah, well, no, I think you're probably right, Jay Smooth. I think a big part of the reason is because of Nolan Smith. Because, if Nolan Smith worked out last year, if Nolan Smith came off this last season with 6 to 10 sacks, letting go of Reddick probably wouldn't have hurt as much. It hurts the most because this is the problem is Nolan Smith hasn't proved anything yet. He hasn't proved a damn thing yet, but it's not his fault. But to get rid of your best pass rusher on your football team on an open window Super Bowl year, you're going to make your defensive line worse. It's going to get worse. It won't be at top strength unless they replace it with somebody else that's going to be good production. We have to face the facts that the D line isn't going to be the same without him. It's just not. You're not replacing him on the other side. That's why you can never get rid of a guy like that. Just can't do it. I understand. I understand you got to pay. It has nothing to do with paying Devontae Smith. Look, if Howie wants to make it work, he can make it work. It's Reddick. 100% that has the issue with the amount of money he's getting, or it could be just draft compensation. It wouldn't shock me that he has a price that, you know, teams are willing to pay, but I think it comes down to the compensation that Howie is getting back. And I'm telling you right now, you better fleece somebody. I don't give a shit. Like, look, I look around the league. Like, look what L'Jarius Sneed gets traded for. Brian Burns. Like, what do you think? At this point, like, I can't see Reddick getting traded higher than a second, third round pick. It's already looking like maybe a third round pick because of his age, which I think is a bunch of BS, but I'm not loving it too much. I think they can get more, but everybody looks at it like how all these other trades are going down. I know that some of them are different positions, but you know, but Sneed, you have to pay. You have to pay these guys. So you think that Atlanta or the Cardinals are gonna pay the Eagles a high draft pick on top of paying Reddick a big ass contract at 30 years old? It's got to balance out, and that's totally not balanced out. You know what I mean? You're not giving up a high draft pick for a player, and you're going to pay him immediately right now, contract ready, in hand, paper signed. That's the whole entire thing. You know? So I get it. You got Kenny Cook, man. Welcome to the camper tier, dude. Thank you for joining up for the extra content, all the extra stuff that's going to be there. Thank you so much for joining up, my friend. Thank you so much, Kenny. Keon says, do you guys know Huff is making more than Reddick? I think we all agree he is not better than Reddick. Well, yeah, right now, dude, but dude, this is a guy they just signed. We didn't expect Reddick to leave this team as of right now. Yeah. Bryce Huff is coming off of not even a full season. Bryce Huff literally only played 43% of the snaps for the Jets last year. He didn't play many snaps, but holy shit, the guy can give pressure. Like, he's a top 3 player the last 3 years and pressure rate. His one-on-ones, he's almost 9 out of 10 times beats his man. He's very good at it. But the Eagles paid him he's getting $17 million a year. Yeah, of course you're going to pay a guy that's younger that price. Of course you are, because he's younger. He's 25, going to turn 26. You know, so I understand it 100%, dude. 100%. But I don't think, Bryce Huff, I think, will make an impact this year, but I still think that Bryce needs like at least a year to make an impact for next year. I still think he'll have a good season this year. Maybe he won't get double-digit sacks this year. Maybe he will. I don't know. But he messed us up against it when we played the Jets this past year. He did a number on us and a lot of other teams. I think he sacked Jalen Hurts 2 times in that game. He was disruptive as shit in that game. Yeah, I think Nikki said it best. In 2 years, $17 million a year will be cheap. Yeah, because because he's going to play better as the years go on, and he's not going to be getting paid a monster over $20 million deal. So theoretically, it's going to be a good deal in the future. So Bryce Huff had one good year. He was undrafted. He worked his ass off. One good year, $17 million. That's so much cheaper than what Hassan wants, and I get it. Okay, $25+ million. No way. Joshua Stewart, thank you for joining the Shake Squad Army, man. Thank you so much for joining the camper tier for the extra content and the support. Thank you so much, man. So much. Alex says, Joey, love your channel. Tune in every day from Scotland. Goddamn, dude. Awesome, man. I like to hear when people are like really far away around the world and then listening to the channel. It's an awesome thing to hear, man. So shout out to you in Scotland, my friend. So that's somebody that Joey is the ghost, spitting the truth, taking moms and putting it down. Oh god, you guys are insane. I'm just gonna say it. I'm just gonna say it because I feel like this is gonna be the whole stream today. Because Hassan Reddick, like the Hassan Reddick stuff is really pissing me off. Like the rumor was that the Eagles were ready to pay Reddick like 20 to 23 million a year. That way, like, it was like 20 to 22, something like that. So is this a Howie problem or is this a Reddick problem? I think obviously it's a Reddick problem. You don't see teams dropping players like this. Okay? You don't see teams dropping players like this to when this Super Bowl window is open the way it is right now, you don't drop players like this. It's just you don't do it. You don't do that. Well, obviously, if you're the 49ers and you know, I mean, the 49ers would never make a move like this, okay? Like, I know, like, they, you know, but after a couple years, when their contracts expire, it's a whole different story. Reddick had a lot of productivity here. It's just way too much to be like, hey, see you later. You know, like, they aggressively, I don't know, because they aggressively went after Bryce Huff in a weird way because they got him really fast. I mean, he had like several teams after him. Okay, Bryce Huff had the Jets wanted to bring him back. The Giants had interest. There was a shit ton of teams. Okay, but like I said, like Reddick wants more money. Howie's not getting enough draft compensation. So how does this thing pan out? I mean, Reddick doesn't really have the leverage at all because he's still on contract for the year. So if he wants to hold out, he's just going to hurt himself. So it's really going to help the Eagles more than hurt. It's going to hurt the Eagles because he's not playing, but it's going to help the Eagles because he sits out during games. All that money's going to go back in our pocket. So back in the cap space. So really, he ain't going to sit out the whole year, especially at 30 years old. He ain't gonna do that and waste time sitting out the whole year. You know, these years are crucial now for his money and crucial to his playing time. So it is a business at the end of the day. I understand that. So I'm not gonna be like, oh, Howie's a bum, or if he loses him, I'm not gonna say that. Then I mean, obviously it was something. If Howie wants to keep Hassan Reddick, there's no doubt. And Reddick has told us a million times he wants to stay in Philadelphia. It's not like one of those PR statements. I firmly believe Reddick wants to stay here. But he 100% deserves a pay raise. If we went into the season right now on top of Reddick's current contract, right now, he would be like $24 million. Sorry, I'm stupid. His contract would rank 24th in the league out of all defensive ends. 24th. Last year it was 16th. You know what I mean? You got to think of it. You're getting a guy that's not good against the run. You know, Reddick, defensive ends get paid to go after the quarterback. That's the main reason why they get paid. They don't get paid for the run stuff ability. Yeah, sure. To have, to be good at both is great. But primarily for defensive ends, you're getting paid to go after the quarterback. And that's how it went. Josh was, hey, Joey, I've been with you for a while. I was unsubscribed and not sure how. Yeah, YouTube does that, unfortunately. YouTube will unsubscribe you. It's happened to me on other channels I'm subscribed to as well. Appreciate your back, Josh, but sorry about that. That shit just happens sometimes. I don't know what happened. Yeah, it's a shitty situation, man. It's a shitty situation. Professor, I'd rather have Reddick next year and lose him in free agency in 25 for nothing. Just trade him for a third this year. I don't care, dude. I don't care about trying to get value for him at the end of next year. Okay, I don't care about getting value for him at this point. I want to win a Super Bowl, dude. I don't care about getting value for him. Doesn't matter. The Eagles have done enough this year regarding free agents, regarding, like, we haven't hit the draft yet. Like, we'll obviously look at this whole thing from a whole entire standpoint. We'll go over all the free agents. We'll go over the draft picks. We'll go over everything. You know, did Howie do the right thing this year? You know, a lot of changes this year between coordinators to assistant coaches to free agents, and trying to keep some of your players too. You know, so we're gonna have to wait and see. Trading Reddick just to try to get value for him, I get that statement. Like, oh, let's just try to get, you know, while Reddick is hot right now and he's on fire right now, let's try to get value for him. I get that statement. I get why they would want to do that. But this is a championship open window right now. You don't miss opportunities like this. This is once in a life, you know, not once in a lifetime, but, you know, you want to get back to that Super Bowl and you lose Hassan Reddick. I'm telling you fucking right now, okay? They get a third. I mean, from what it looks like, I mean, seriously, L'Jarius Sneed, right? Let's go over the compensation. Like these players, L'Jarius Sneed, like, doesn't get a deal until now, $19 million a year. I mean, $19 million a year. Okay. Let me see this shit. Let me see this. A 25 third-round pick. Okay, Sneed is landing a 25 third-round pick, and yeah, I mean that's it. You got to pay Sneed a lot of money. Got to have a contract ready, but with L'Jarius Sneed, a 25 third-rounder. Brian Burns is 26. 4 years younger than Sweat. Less statistics. And the Giants gave away a second-round pick to the Panthers. So what do you think you're getting for Hassan Reddick at 30 years old with much better stats? I don't even think you're going to get a third-round pick at this point. I think a lot of people aren't happy with the Bryce Huff signing. I think a lot of people are trying to hide it. I think a lot of people are just not happy with it. And I get why you're not, but that's a good signing. It's a very, very good signing. You just signed a guy at 25 years old going to his prime. Okay? Yes, Reddick is 29. By the time the season starts, he's 30 years old. Okay? He turns 30 in September. Trust me. Regardless. Ryan says, man, I would take AJ Terrell instead of pickup of Reddick. I mean, but what do you do, though? I mean, you're going to get shitty cap draft compensation, and you're just going to have to tell Reddick he's going to have to play on his deal. And they're going to have to rework it or something. I honestly don't know. I honestly have no idea. I hope I'm wrong about some things. You know what I mean? Can't lose Reddick. He is a power core of our defense. Howie has to remedy the situation at hand. So it's like, if a team is willing, I wonder if teams are actually willing to pay Reddick actually that much money. I highly doubt it. I doubt it. Okay. Well, the compensation isn't good. I kind of already have the feeling the compensation is not good at all. Do you know 24 guns better than him? Lee said if Howie didn't give Trashberry and Slay big extensions, he'd have money to keep Reddick. I don't see why you couldn't get this done. And like I said, like, I can't blame Howie for it. Look, it could be Howie, it could be Reddick just being stubborn on just a certain number, and that's the way it is. You know what I mean? Jewel says, "K, I agree. 25 million is way too much. I love Reddick. This is just crazy." Yeah, it's a little nuts. What's going on, Nina? Hope you're having a good day. So much. Thank you for coming in so much. Our Mike says, Joey, besides our big free moves and free agency, which signing is your favorite? Minus Paris Campbell. Paris Campbell's a very underrated signing at wide receiver. He really is. Doesn't mean that they're done at wide receiver. I don't know. I think they have a lot of interest in some of these guys, and some of these pro days. Going to Texas Pro Day, Aaron Moorhead, Bobby King. Looking at Adonai Mitchell, looking at Xavier Worthy, stuff like that. So it's nice to see like they're going to do their due diligence and go to places and check players out. My favorite free agent signing right now, I don't know, actually. I haven't actually thought about my favorite. I would probably have to say Bryce Huff, because I feel like he's going to do some damage. I really like that they signed a really young edge rusher at a nice price. And I think coming off a double-digit sack season, his first one of his career, and I think there are going to be plenty more of them to go. I like his bend off the line, his explosiveness. He's got a quick first step. He's been in coverage before. He's a perfect fit for Fangio's scheme. So there's a lot. Bryce Huff is at least for us, I think is one of the biggest. I'm more of a defensive guy. That's just me. But if I would pick anybody out of the offense, obviously it's Saquon Barkley as being my favorite, because it was an outside the box move. Me and Philly we're talking about this, and people were hating it, and it actually happened. So it's been kind of crazy. Nicky says best signing is Huff. I agree. I think Bryce Huff is the best signing for this team. Let me know what you guys think your favorite signing is. Let me know in the live chat. Joe says he's going to be 30 when the season starts. Yeah, that's the issue I'm having. If Reddick was 26 years old, a deal would have been done. A deal would have been done already, probably. I wouldn't doubt it. If Reddick was having the seasons he was having on top of youth, you know what I mean? Like, you know what I mean? I get it. Like he was doing when he was a little bit younger, so he was doing it at that time. He got to Philadelphia. It was like what, 3 years, $43 million. It wasn't a big contract. It was a very small contract. So, Reggie says, get Clowney a cheap Reddick. Also, Eagle fans can thank Clowney for their Super Bowl victory. Third rounder is fair due to sturdy. It's a tough one for me to get a third round pick, because he could start for an NFL team and get you double digit sacks. I don't know. I know it's not promised he'll get double digit sacks, but I'm sorry, he's done it every single year. So it's hard for me to say that he's not going to do that on another team. And to only get a third rounder for a guy that's going to do that for you, it's really going to piss me off. But this trade is taking a lot longer than expected. So maybe that's good, maybe that's bad, but I think it's going to be positive. I'm hoping that they are able to keep Hassan Reddick in the building and kind of work something out. Okay, your cap hits for your offense are absolutely nothing this year. I mean, you don't have high cap numbers this year. You don't. You know what I mean? I think you're in a really good spot right now. So what's going on with Justin Simmons, Joey? All right, Martin. So the news on Justin Simmons right now is nothing. Justin Simmons is doing things. He did something the other day, which kind of like, I made a video on it, but definitely check it out. But he pretty much put out a tweet involving the Eagles tush push, and he's never done this off season, so it's kind of weird. But that's what he pretty much did, and it just seems so convenient that the Eagles are talked about in something, and he goes and he talks about it on his account. It's just, I think it's kind of weird. That's just me. So that's where I'm at. Because people keep yapping about compensation. Only compensation I want is a ring. Yeah, I get it. I get it, dude. I get it. You know what I mean? Like, it's like, I don't care about getting value for Reddick right now. I don't care about that because we have money, we have draft capital. I don't care about. It's not like it's not like we're under the cap and he's gonna. Yes, he's gonna. I mean, you just if you extend Reddick, you save $11+ million. Like, it's a win-win for the Eagles. The Eagles keep Reddick. You get your best pass rusher back on top of Bryce Huff, Josh Sweat, Brandon Graham. I mean, Milton Williams. I mean, seriously, like, you have a chance this year. Adding another high caliber edge rusher and Bryce Huff just changed everything for this team if Reddick stays. Oh man. All right. Hold on. If 25 million is crazy for Reddick, I would rather trade because we need the money. Extend Smitty. I'm not, dude. The Smitty thing is fine. The Smitty thing is fine. Like, they're not giving Reddick $25 million a year. It's not going to happen. Okay, let's be real. It's not going to happen. Never going to happen. So I wouldn't worry about that too much. What we have to worry about is if they get rid of Reddick, then what? I say for myself that one side of that defensive line, that other edge spot is weak as shit. I don't care who's over there. I don't think Sweat's going to make up for it, and I don't think Brandon Graham's going to make up for it. It's just not enough for me. It's not enough. I don't think that's going to be enough for us. John says, I don't think Huff gets 10 sacks next year. Well, even if he doesn't, it doesn't matter to me. Like, he's just Bryce Huff. Not only can he get those sack numbers up, but he's like a disruptive player. He's just fucking, he just makes a mess of things. That's all I care about in his first year. Okay. But that Huff contract it seems a lot right now, but it's really not, because after a year, Huff is going to be one of the best edge rushers in the league. Okay? He will be. And that $17 million is going to look like nothing by the time he's done with it. Okay? That's where I'm at with this whole situation with edge. Because if we were rebuilding, or if we were not even in this whole era of, with this window being open for a Super Bowl, just get whatever you can for Reddick at this point and free up all that money. But that's not the position we're in right now. I've never seen a team switch coordinators this much and still be in it, because your offense has probably two of the best wide receiver tandems I've ever seen in a long time. Okay, when used correctly and not, using these players, to not go towards their strengths, is a big difference. You got Dre Diesel with the super chat. Thank you so much, man. It says, hey, Shake, sorry, but Reddick won't get traded till draft day, probably after a team misses a day one hit. Well, no, I don't think that's even right either, Dre, because they have to pay his roster bonus. So they moved his roster bonus a few days ago? They moved his roster bonus that they were supposed to pay Reddick to April 1st. I think this trade is getting done within like the next week. Because if they pay, I don't know what the rule is. If they pay Reddick his roster bonus and they know they're still getting rid of him, does that mean if they pay his roster bonus, can they pay his roster bonus and still get rid of him? I don't think they want to do that. So I think a trade is happening within a week. I think a trade is going to happen in Philadelphia. Something is going to happen if that's the case. So they're going to get this thing done in a week. within a week, in a week, within a week, whatever it is. I think he says in 3 years we'll be wearing Huff jerseys and praying we extend him. Yeah. I have a good feeling about it. There's gonna be a lot to talk about tonight too. It's gonna be a lot to talk about. But Dre, I appreciate that, Superman, and I totally get it. But if before I even knew about this roster bonus that it was due, like I felt like he was gonna be a draft day trade. But with this roster bonus now, we'll see what happens. DC Joe, I think we get a third in that next year's 6 for Reddick. Not worth it, man. Not worth it. Yes, I understand the Eagles need that 3rd round pick back. And look, they moved 22 spots in the Kenny Pickett trade. They got rid of the 3rd. They got the 4th. They moved down 22. That's fine, Yeah, but why is the $1 million bonus like a big deal? Like $1 million is like pennies. Like, oh my God, we don't want to pay. Yeah, it's a free $1 million you're giving a player. Like, but is that really the main reason why they're trying to get? I mean, I don't know. Mon says they signed Huff to replace Reddick. That's what I kind of thought they did, but I don't know if that's the case, though. I don't know if that's the case because they figure that if Reddick is going to not only get extended, but if Reddick gets extended, or if the Eagles have a plan to extend Reddick, that obviously Reddick will play out the rest of his contract while you have another defensive end in the building that's playing at a high level. It's weird to me because you're gonna if you re-sign Reddick, right? You're gonna be paying 3 defensive ends over $10 million, $10 million or more. You don't normally do that. That's a lot of money. Like it's a lot of money. Like I don't normally see 3 edge rushers getting paid $10 million. You remember Josh Sweat got restructured and what was it, 13? They gave him more guaranteed money over $10 million. Reddick will make over $10 million. Bryce Huff's making over $10 million. It's a lot of money for 3 players at one position. Thank God you have good draft capital. Thank God you still have good cap space right now. Eagles are looking good financially, and the roster is starting to shape up really nicely. So, no, Reddick, no. Huff could play either side. Doesn't matter. Nikki Cunningham says, Latu coming to Philly for a visit. Well, that's interesting. Is that like real news? That's from a good source? Because if that's the case, then. And Latu's going to be a top 15 pick. Latu is probably my favorite player in this draft. Hands down. Favorite player in this draft. So I think theoretically the Eagles want to get a 2nd round pick for Reddick. Theoretically, I think what they want right now is they want a 2nd rounder. That's been the rumor. If the Latu news is actually real, then that tells a lot. Then I'm not really seeing it right now unless if I even see that at this point, I would believe it, but. Posted Joey, would you use Reddick to trade up in the draft? If that's what they want to do, then fine. I mean, if they want to pay Reddick, just pay Reddick his $1 million for the. See, that's the thing. Does the roster bonus mean that he has to be on the roster if you pay him that $1 million? Because why would they move that money? Because they just didn't want to pay him, or is it because if they do pay pay him that? I have to ask about that because I don't know that. Does anybody actually know that? If somebody can go on Google and just search that up, like if you pay a player a roster bonus, does that mean they have to stay with the team? I just kind of want to know that. Mike says, "Grieving Chris, big stars. We are not trading up for Bowers." Jewel Blaze, thank you for the super chat, my friend. He says, "Trade Reddick. Use the comp to move up, and draft Latu when we have a young stud. Still will have 2 second rounders." Well, what comp? What do you mean use the comp? You mean using like the comps that we got this past year? I mean, we don't have, like I said, we don't have the 3rd round pick yet. So you want to use? I mean, I mean, if there's a way they can move in the top, if they were able to move in the top 15 and get the top edge rusher, then I'll have no issue with if that's the plan going forward. I don't know if that's the plan going forward. You know what I mean? I hope it is, but I guess we'll see. It's gonna get crazy, guys. Like the news is gonna break. The news is gonna break sooner or later. Like it's gonna happen. Like I'm just preparing myself for it right now. I'm not gonna go crazy, but I'm just preparing myself for it at this point. That Reddick is going to be gone, but there is a chance they could bring him back. But if we're hearing so if Bryce Huff gets 7, they sign Bryce Huff to big money, and then Latu is coming in for a pre-draft visit. I don't know if it shows a lot, if that's the case. If they're able to get a 2nd round pick, it's fine. At this point, guys, like if they're able to get a 2nd round pick, they got 3 2nd round picks. I mean, shit, dude. You know what Howie could do with 3 2nd round picks? I mean, he could do a lot with that. Trade up, trade back, more picks. It's crazy, man. They said Reddick has closed out so many things for Eagles. I mean, it's true. He's been, even this past year, like Reddick has been like where Reddick has been really good this year. And Reddick is a very streaky player. He's not the guy. Sometimes in 1 month, he'll get you like no sacks. Like he'll get you 1 sack in a month. And then the next month, he'll get you like 6, 7 sacks. Like that's just how it goes. But he's had some of these really big 4th quarter stops. This defense has, and he's really turned out. But don't tell me like, oh, he didn't do nothing at the end of the year. What defensive lineman did anything at the end of the year? Josh Sweat didn't have a sack from the last game till week 9 of the season. He didn't have a sack since then. Everybody disappeared. Jalen Carter didn't do shit at the end of the year. Nobody did. I mean, everybody hit a brick wall at one point. Jimmy said, no less than a second. I wouldn't give Reddick away for anything less. I want another pick too. Wherever he goes, he is a star. More so, very effective player. I'm looking for at least, if they get a 2nd round pick this year, okay, and they get like a 5th, 6th round pick next year, whatever. I would say ask for a 2nd, and I would say at least get a 5th to a 6th round pick for next year's draft. This way you have at least another pick under your belt next year. So trade Reddick because he's turning 30, but draft a 24-year-old rookie in round 1. Yeah, because because you don't have to pay a big extension to a player in the 1st round for 5 years. That's why. That's the main reason why. The better you draft, the less cap space you have to spend. The more money you'll have in free agency, the more you draft better. It's a win-win for the Eagles. Can't use comp picks to trade up. Well, Well, they're not. Well, they already have what, 3 5th-round picks. Only one of them is a comp pick, so they still have another 2 5th-round picks they can use. The 2nd-round picks are not comp picks. So, Living the Dreams. I tagged you in the Latu. Let me see. Appreciate it, Saquon. All right, so Mosher. Appreciate it, man. He said, intriguing pass rusher prospect will be visiting the Eagles as a 30 visit. UCLA's edge Latu, a source said Latu had 13 sacks last year and was a Pac-12 Defensive Player of the Year. Holy shit. Well, there you go. I mean, it's just funny how that news came out today. It's funny how this Reddick report came out today on top of interesting. Interesting. Well, it seems like it's pretty real. Appreciate it, living the dream. If we have to trade Reddick, it's got to be for at least a second to use and move up in the draft. Yeah, I don't want to give up. I don't want to get a 3rd-round pick for him. I'm not. I need more compensation than that. So I don't know which way they're going, but someone's have to give up something. Isaiah says a 2nd-round pick would be good compensation. Yeah, it's good for. It's good. I think 2nd is okay, but like I said, I feel like he has more value staying on this roster and being here for a Super Bowl. It's hard to let go of a player like this. In my opinion, it's just hard to let go of a player like this for anything, really, for any type of draft compensation. Dre said, Shakes, the roster bonus only means they get paid, and if they're on the roster at that time, it has nothing to do with if you keep or trade them after that. Okay, that's all I want to know. If that's true, I don't. Yeah, all right. So that's all right. So that's cleared up then. So the roster bonus has nothing to do with like if he. So the Eagles pay him the roster bonus. It doesn't mean he has to be on the roster. That has nothing to do with it. They just don't want to pay him $1 million. Simple as that. They just don't want to pay him. Russell Fizzword says, extend Reddick for 2 years, still have cap when Smith new contract starts, save 11 this year, or trade him, lose cap and get a 3rd, 4th-round pick. That sits on the bench. I'm confused. Well, no, I mean, you can't get a 3rd, 4th-round pick. That's what I'm saying. Like, I want compensation where that pick is going to be used to trade up, or that pick is going to be used for a starter. Obviously, that 2nd, 3rd, 4th-round pick probably won't be. No, that's why no player that you trade, no pick that you get, whether it's a 2nd, 3rd, or 4th, isn't going to live up to what Hassan Reddick is. Okay, you're not going to replace Reddick with a player that you draft with a 2nd, 3rd, or 4th. But if you use that to trade up to get one of the best edge rushers, if that's the case, then that's a whole different story. Let's see. Joseph Fowler said it's between the Cardinals and Falcons for Reddick. Yes, that's the rumor right now. So I'm going to read this one more time for people that are just joining up in the chat. This was the report from Jeremy Fowler today on Reddick. Okay. It says, appearing on SportsCenter on Saturday morning, ESPN's Jeremy Fowler reported the expectation around the NFL is Reddick will eventually be traded with the Arizona Cardinals, the Atlanta Falcons side as potential landing spots. Quote unquote, the expectation league-wide is that he is moved at some point. The Eagles went and spent on Bryce Huff. They re-signed Josh Sweat, which is wrong. They didn't re-sign him. They restructured him. So they have their 2 pass rushers. Reddick appears to be the odd man out. He doesn't want a new deal. He does want a new deal, but this is a premier guy that should have value. I agree. He wants a new contract plus the draft capital that is going to take to get him. Arizona could be a team to watch because Jonathan Gannon was with him 2 years ago in Philly. They had good production together. Arizona needs pass rushers, Atlanta to an extent, so there should be teams in the mix. So, and then Mosher comes out with news that now Latu, the best edge rusher in this draft, is on a visit with the Eagles. Top 30 visit with the Eagles. So it's just weird how both of those things are coming out in one day. That's where we're at. Drew, what's going on, man? He says Reddick has to get done with him and Simmons on the field at the same time would be awesome. Yeah, I mean, Justin Simmons, I'm bearing my time with Justin Simmons. I feel like it's going to happen sooner or later. I think the signs are already showing. I'm 88% confident that he will be a Philadelphia Eagle really soon. See here. Larry, so what up, Shakes? I said the whole Clyde Edwards-Helaire was a good look. I think we should pull the trigger on this one. I'm an LSU fan. He's super underrated. Yeah, so Clyde Edwards-Helaire, apparently there's been some, I wouldn't say rumors. I would say like there was some connectivity with maybe the Eagles will go after another running back in free agency. Helaire coming off over 400 yards last year with the Kansas City Chiefs. Obviously, he's the backup for Pacheco on the Kansas City Chiefs. So we'll see what happens. That's another move that could take a little bit of time. We'll see. Gracie, I'm not sold on Nolan Smith, Jordan Davis, or Nakobe Dean. It's prove a year for the latter two, in my opinion. Well, I mean, yeah, Davis everybody hit a wall on that defensive line. So, Davis kind of disappeared at the end of the year, middle to the end of the year, I have to say. The last game where I think we're like, holy crap. I think it was when Jordan Davis was, I think he was chasing Josh Allen to the sideline and kind of fell on his back, and he was like out of breath. Nakobe Dean's availability, there's no availability, and Nolan Smith didn't really have a chance last year. On top of a couple injuries, I mean, Nolan Smith only got a lot of big chances at the end of the year. He didn't get any playing time. Sean Desai wouldn't even play him throughout the year, so. Torres said, I don't want him. Cole says, Joey, not gonna lie, I think I saw Latu. I didn't see any news on Latu yesterday. I see nothing. And usually people will tag me on Twitter most of the time when like news comes out like this. Almost 100% of the time I get tagged in a lot of stuff. I'm on Twitter all day looking at things. So, maybe we missed it. I don't know. But I never even seen this yesterday. Let's see. The shakedown should be at 8 o'clock. 8 o'clock tonight. Jimmy G says, Joey, Philly Fire is my fave, but I watch you too. I feel your love for the game and the team, homie. Gangrene is back. Oh yeah, dude, dude. I'm excited for the season, man. I'm excited for the season, dude. Trust me. Mike says, give Reddick the extension 2 years at 20 a year, up to 25 with incentives. Yeah, I mean, they could do that. Like, they could do anything. I mean, make it incentive based, whatever. He'll make some more money if he does certain things. This whole Reddick thing's getting me nervous because if they get rid of him and they just like don't reply, they do nothing on that side, I think it's a big loss. I think it's a big loss because I'm sorry, but no one's putting up those numbers like Reddick does. But at least if you get someone in the draft at high priority, then I'll feel a little bit better. But still, Latu is not going to give you what Reddick is going to give you, and that's That's the only problem I have, because you can't replace Reddick with his productivity, because no player in free agency, no one is going to replace Reddick for his productivity right now. Not right now. You know what I mean? Clearwater BG says, Joey, I've AZ interested in Reddick news. I mentioned and stand on swapping our first with and Reddick, get a fourth. We can use it or trade back, get more. They could. What pick do the Cardinals even have? Do the Cardinals, somebody search up Cardinals, you know, I'll do it. What are the Cardinals draft picks for 2024? So the Cardinals have 2 first rounders. They have number 4 and they have 27. All right, so you're not swapping to get the number 4 overall pick. You know, that's gonna if Reddick's in a deal, I don't know if that's gonna be enough though. They have the 4th overall, the 27th overall in the first round. They have pick 35 in the second. So they have 1 second rounder. That's it. 1 second rounder. Let me just compare to the Eagles. All right. Yeah, so I would take their second rounder because they have a high second round pick. I mean, they're at 35. They got a good second rounder right there. They have 30. They got 35. We have 50 and 53 in the second round. 50 and 53. 4th round 120. 5th round 161. 5th round 171. And round 5 172. So you have 3, yeah, for the 3 5th round picks. Round 6 210. So they have 35. Which is pretty damn good. Really good. So that's a nice second round pick that they have right there that you can go get. I mean, you're right outside the second. You're right outside the first round of the draft. You're right there. So, all right. So what up, Shakes? I said the whole class. Oh yeah, I already read that before. Frank Brown says, Joey, just make him play on the current contract. He has no leverage. If you can't resign him, you will get a comp pick the following year. The problem with playing Reddick on his current contract is his cap number is humongous right now. It's like $21 million against the cap. That's why the Eagles have to trade him or they have to extend him. So the cap number is huge. It's huge. Got to spread out that cap number with an extension. I don't think it stays in that direction right now. Bill says he isn't going anywhere for a 3rd round pick. That's why Howie is chilling. Well, that's why he's quiet. Why do you think nothing is happening right now? Nothing is happening right now because Howie's not getting the right draft compensation. Look, if you take the Cardinals 35th pick, that's a great pick. Round 2, 35. So the Eagles would have 35, 50, and 53. That's big. That's huge. Let's see here. Who else? The Falcons? Let's check out the Falcons draft picks for 2024. Let's see what they have since apparently Falcons and Cardinals have the most interest in Reddick right now. They have 4. All right, so they have 1 second rounder at 43. Cardinals have 35. Even 43 isn't that bad. They have 43. So there's some second rounders here you can go get. Obviously, the connection with Jonathan Gannon, you know, I could see it. Jimmy Juice, I'm keeping Hassan. He was hurt last year and his hand was awful in the glove. As soon as it came off, he went beast mode and still hit double-digit sacks. That's my dog. Oh, man. I'm telling you. Everyone thinks like Reddick. Everyone thinks like Reddick is not worth the money, but you know, I mean, 25 plus, not really, but you know, that's where we're at right now. So we're gonna have a lot to discuss. We're gonna have a lot to discuss tonight and a lot to discuss on the video tomorrow. A lot to discuss tomorrow. So, Suo Blaze, thank you so much, man, for the super chat. Very much. Says, what if we trade Reddick 22 and 53 for pick number 4 and take who? Who's MH Jr.? Who's that? When you guys do like you put like a couple letter. Who's MH Jr.? Who is that? Somebody tell me. I don't want to skip the super chat. I don't want to skip Suo Blaze's question because I don't know what the name is. Reddick, so you want to trade Reddick, the Eagles' first round pick, and their second round pick for the number 4th overall. I mean, if that's gonna be if they can pull that you're talking about the draft Marvin Harrison. Yeah, no. You're not trading up for. I mean that would be. That'd be crazy. Not only would you have your wide receiver 3, but you would have your receiver of the future if AJ Brown leaves. I mean, that would be crazy. That would be absolutely nuts. That would be nuts, dude. Let's see. All right. That would be crazy. Don't think it'd be for Marvin Harrison though. I mean, that's what I'm saying though, because what I'm saying is like they could do a double whammy here. They could trade for the number 4 over. They could trade for the 4th overall pick, and then they could trade back a few spots. Because I think the number 4 overall pick is still. It's still like teams are going to want to move up to number 4. Like you can even trade that back for a few spots to get more draft picks if you want. So they can move up and move back a few spots and still get the guy that they want. You know what I mean? So, I mean it's not a bad idea, but I don't think it's going to be for, you know, I mean that'd be funny though. That'd be like surprising for a wide receiver. You know, an outside the box move for Howie Roseman. But we'll see though. We'll see. Thank you for the super chat, and that's not bad, except for, you know, the wide receiver part. I don't know if they'll go for that, but appreciate it, man. Ross, I found the super chat. Thank you so much, man. If someone gives us a second, it would be in 25. No thanks. It's what you're gonna have to get, dude. 35 is not a bad spot to be in. It's not bad. I think 35 is a good pick. Appreciate the super, man. Yeah, I mean, I don't know. For me, I feel like it's just at this point I wouldn't there's a lot of other receivers I'd go at. I wouldn't think you would have to really go that far to draft. But I mean, I would. It depends too. Like you have neighbors that could be a few pick. Neighbors can be available a few picks back. You don't have to draft Xavier Worthy high. You don't have to draft Adonai Mitchell high. Xavier Legette. If they want a big receiver, it just depends. If you want, you know, Ricky Purcell maybe in the second round. If you want, you know, Lad McConkey, if you want. I mean, there's so many other guys you can get. I don't think you'd have to move up to you know, to get a guy like that. No. Stuart says, yeah, so many options would be wild. I agree. Yeah, I mean, the Eagles will. I mean, the respect Howie Roseman is gonna Howie Roseman, the more ammo that Howie Roseman has, the more flexibility he has, what he could do in this draft. Nate says, crazy risky to me to get rid of an edge in his prime for a draft a pick lottery. Sure, the money is better, but risky is. Yeah, I mean, it's not risky if it's the right pick, but if you're going to a Super Bowl year this year, getting rid of Reddick, you know, is drafting somebody in the first round. Like, if you drafted Latu for Reddick, is it still going to be a huge upgrade? I think you're going to get a lot of productivity. If you draft Latu, I think you'll get a shit ton of productivity. I don't know if he'll get double-digit sacks. He could have 8 to 10 sacks this year, you know, but that's like the only move that I would make. If you get rid of Reddick, I feel like you'll have to draft an edge rusher in the first round and aggressively move up. That's where I'm kind of going with it. So her Giants are consider moving on from Daniel. Oh no, they're definitely moving on. They're stuck with his cap number right now. You know what I mean? They have to keep him on the roster for another year. Christopher Baker said, would you trade Reddick for Buda Baker straight up? I don't know. I think he's on contract obviously for this year, right? Yeah, so you could. I mean, we're gonna find out. You know, I want to see what happens with Justin Simmons, and I want to see what happens with that guy from the Colts that's visiting the Niners. I didn't see that he signed at all. I always forget that guy's name all the time. Low risk, high reward move for him. There's 2 safeties out there. Nick Scott just signed with the team, so he's not available anymore. So says, we're not going to draft Marv. It was just a player we could take it for, not taking an edge this year. You might not take an edge. I don't know. Maybe. I don't know. I feel like you get rid of Reddick and just ignore and just say screw it. I don't know. I think you're weak. I think you just got a little bit weaker. I think you totally got weaker right there. So I don't know. Jerome, what's going on? Jerome says, hey, Shakes, another sneaky pick. You should look up Kamari Lassiter, DB from UGA. He hit hard, hardly ever gave up big plays. I got to check him out. There's going to be, by the time the draft hits, like, there's going to be a lot of guys I've seen, a lot of guys I haven't seen. So I'm excited, man. Nick Cunningham said, Lam McConkey, Alexi Corley, Roman Wilson. Yeah, Roman Wilson from Michigan, right? Malik Washington, Jacob Cowling. Those are the guys I'm watching. Jimmy, can you picture all that speed? A defense would have to play us honest, which means Saquon or Hurts could eat all day. Goddard too. Yeah. I mean, look, an outside the box move would be wide receiver, no doubt. I mean, you know, it would surprise me a little bit. It would surprise me a little bit. Losing the pass rush puts more pressure on our ancient corners. Danny says, I worry about Latu long-term health, wise with his neck, but I could be wrong. I think everybody's freaking out because he was almost medically retired in 2020. You know, he was pretty much medically retired. Then he came back and he just became a beast after that. But he's got a really good story. You know, at least I know with Latu, you're getting a player that gives it his all and doesn't take plays off. And, you know, we'll see. Go on, LeBron. Hope you're having a good day, man. Jadeveon Clowney? He's trying to get. Didn't he sign? He didn't sign yet? I heard he was visiting the Panthers, and I think that was the last thing I heard so far. LeBron said, would you think the Falcons would give up Kyle Pitts in the 5th for Reddick? No, probably not. They need Kyle Pitts, dude. I mean, that's another weapon for Kirk Cousins. I don't know. I don't think that would make any sense at all for Kyle to get out of there. They need Kyle Pitts. Totally need him. Then he says, why don't we have the money for Reddick? Kelsey and Cox Towers are gone. I just don't get it. 25 million seems high, but market right now. Yeah, 25 million for a 30-year-old edge rusher turning 30 in September. Yeah, it's a lot of money. It is a lot of money. The Eagles aren't, you know what I mean? The Eagles don't have a lot of people they're paying like that number to right now. You know what I mean? So it's one of those things where like it's not that the Eagles can't afford it, it's that the Eagles just don't want to pay that to a player that they think that's probably not going to be here for a long time. You know, like that's a lot of money. And I don't even think the Cardinals and Falcons or any other teams are even trying to pay that much. But I could be wrong. Let's see. Jimmy, we went to him and Jackson recommended him too. He is faster than Tyreek. He also crisp routes and hands, special. Pretty Ricky from Florida. Yeah, he's nice too. He's nice too. I like him a lot. He says Ashton Davis, safety from the Jets. Remember the name. Why is that? You think they make a? Why is he available for trade? Pitt's going to be Kurt's favorite target. Yeah, I mean, I heard a lot of people talking about Kyle Pitts being traded, but Danny says I know it's probably won't have. What about draft linebacker 22? E Cooper. Been hearing he might go late first, early second. I heard he's going to move down a little bit. I don't think you. I mean, you could probably get him at 22. You could probably get him. You probably get him in the late as well if they want to trade back. He'd probably be a trade back candidate, maybe. Let's see. Oh, he is a free agent. Ashton Davis, is he? Huh. Yeah, I've heard no news on it, but I mean, you never know. Sometimes when certain specific players are quiet, you know, you never know what you're gonna get. So it says so many good wide receivers in this draft. There is. I mean, this is a great. I would love the Eagles because I feel like so the Eagles technically have what 5 receivers right now. They have Paris Campbell, they have Devontae Parker, AJ Brown, Devontae Smith, Britton Covey. So they have 5. Austin Watkins would count as 6, but he's more camp body right now. Joseph Nagata. I don't know who else they have at wide receiver right now, but I think I mean going to Texas Pro Day, they've been looking at Donnie Mitchell. They've been looking at Xavier Worthy. I mean we'll see. Maybe they talked to Deshaun Jackson. Maybe try to draft Xavier Worthy. I don't know. You know, so they could. I mean, this would be a good draft to go get a number 3 guy, add more speed to your offense. I mean, I really like the Paris Campbell signing a lot. I really like that signing. Didn't do much with the Giants. I don't think anybody did last year. But had over 600 yards with the Colts in 22. You know, can play on the inside really well. Whereas, did you hear the stuff that Dak Prescott's brother said about Jalen Hurts that he's not a top 10? Yeah, I don't care about any of that shit. I can care less about it. That shit is just waste of time to even talk about. Who cares what his brother thinks? So, I mean, at this point, like, it is what it is. Vandell Jones says exactly. Joey pay Connie $10 million, trade Reddick for a 25 second round. Draft 1 second round. Trade Reddick for a 25 second and draft somebody with your first second? And maybe. I don't know if there's interest in Clowney at all. I think it's happening, Dom. He says Jay Simmons to the Eagles. Is it happening? I think it's 88% happening, dude. I got a good feeling. I have a really good feeling about it. That says doubt Simmons signs before camp. Last chance at the bag. Might wait as long as necessary. He ain't gonna get it. He ain't getting what he wants, so it ain't gonna happen. Brian says, "What's your favorite B horror movie?" My favorite, I don't know. They're between there's 80s, there's so much I can look at, but Ron says, Joey, would you accept the Eagles signing Michael Gallup? No. I don't think they have any interest at all. I know he's visiting a couple teams right now, so I don't think they have interest. They're looking for a number 3 right now. Unless they are looking for a number 3 right now, I don't know. But I don't think so. Aaron Fires, L'Jarius Sneed, Tennessee's new lockdown cornerback, lied at Tennessee. He will never win another Super Bowl again. He might not. Jimmy says, that's why I think they are preparing for the future. Browns only got one more year, really. I would only give up Reddick for Surtain. Harry says, Reddick gets traded. We're going edge. Might even move up to get one. And the news came out. The news is out now that Latu, the best edge rusher, has a top 30 visit with the Eagles already. So it's already happening. Already happening right now. It's already official, really. Would you trade DJ said, would you trade Hassan Reddick for a third a third and a fourth? No. It's not enough. I think if it was a third and a fourth, it would be, I think it would, the deal would have already been done. If it was a third, fourth round pick, I think this deal would have been, I think this deal is, I think this deal is not, I don't think that deal is going to happen. I think a trade is going to happen. That's what it's going towards right now. If they keep him, great. If not, then I guess they have to figure it out. Let's see. Jimmy Simmons is going to deal. He's going to drop his price for us. He wants to be here, but wants to see if somebody out there wants to make him richer first. Yeah, well, how long are you going to wait till somebody makes them richer? Especially you're coming near the draft. I mean, he's not going to wait till after the draft. So it's going to be within the next few weeks. That's all he's really got at this point. Elaine, what's going on? Says, hi, Joey. How's your Saturday? I think we are keeping Reddick. Looks like no one wants to pay his price. I don't know if it's... I think part of it is they're not going to pay what he wants, but they're going to pay him. And I think part of it is Howie Roseman's not getting the right compensation. You know what I mean? I think that's just part of it. BMQ with Super Chat says trade Reddick for Falcons for AJ Terrell. Yeah, that ain't happening. Much as people would be shocked over it, I don't think that would happen. But I need picks. Players aren't going to help. I need picks. A pick and a player, sure, but just player for player, no. Not on board with doing that at all. Not on board with that whatsoever. Dale says Greer, veteran QB from West Virginia, drafted by Carolina Panthers, 5th round. Yeah, I mean he's just gonna be a camp arm. Like just for right now. I mean it's nothing creative. It's just a quarterback that Kellen Moore's familiar with, and that's really it. I mean there's really nothing else to that than just that. That's how that goes. Camp arm, camp arm with a crap arm. He said, "Man, thinking $14 million a year isn't enough money." yeah, I'll make $1 million. I'll go on the practice squad and practice with the team all week for fucking not even $1 million. I'll make over $500,000 to $800,000 a year just to practice with the team and never even see the field my whole career. I'll be fine with that. RBI 24 says, "Hey Joey, it's been fun off season so far. What makes matters better is the Dallas Cockroaches have done absolutely nothing. How cool is that?" It's it was expected, I guess. It was expected because they ain't doing nothing. They ain't doing much of anything. As of right now, they ain't doing much of anything. That's how that goes. They haven't done much of anything. That's why I think Dallas really has to hit on their draft class. Like, if they don't hit on this draft, they're not going to be good. They got to hit on this draft. They got to hit at least on they got to hit on like 3 players in this draft. Because their draft last year was a total fail last year. We got Jimmy. Jimmy, what's going on, man? Thank you for joining the camper tier, man. All the extra content and support. So I thank you so much for that. All that great stuff. Check out the extra content. We're going to have... Did I upload? I did upload my video today. Okay, I was making sure. I just have membership videos every single day. Check it out. Thank you so much, Jimmy. Jimmy, for joining up, man. Appreciate it so much, dude. Appreciate it. JNC, I think we trade up to the 15th or 14th. Could. That Rider says, I would definitely trade Reddick for Arizona's 35 pick and a 7th rounder, then go best available in the first round, then get Cooper at 35. The 53 pick, trade back to get more picks. What do you think? I mean, I would, if they were going to give up the 35th pick for the Eagles and a 7th round pick, whether it was a 7th round pick for this year or next year, I think you'd be fine. I think that's fine. You'll have 3 second round picks. And plus that first, and you could do a pick swap with the first rounder, and then maybe give an extra second rounder to move up. So I mean, you'll have the capital to do that. I don't see why not. I mean, the Cardinals have the 35th, which is a really, really good pick. Really, really good pick. So I think that would be good enough to move up in the first, no doubt. I think what you have now, you can move up in the first, but you have those 3 5th round picks. Remember that too. So, we'll see. Dangwan says, why would Washington trade for Pickett when they have the number 2 overall pick? Oh, they're in contention to get the quarterback they want. We're chilling. We're chilling and win the East again. We'll see. We'll see, dude. I think the Eagles are a question mark. The Cowboys are definitely a big question mark, and I think Washington. Washington's got some good players, but the coaching has to come together. So we'll see. That's right. I would definitely trade Reddick to Arizona 35, 7th round, then go available in the first round, then get Cooper at 35, 53, trade back to get more picks. Yeah, they could do that. They could do that too. CBC, I'll bet mortgage that the Cowboys blow another draft. Priceless. JMC says, I would legit sit on the bench for the whole year to do nothing for 15,000. Elaine says, so far, Joey, it's been quiet here, not unless I missed something. I mean, it's not quiet. I mean, there's news coming out. We haven't signed anybody today, but I mean, it's been a pretty busy free agency. It hasn't been that quiet. There's been maybe a couple days out of the 2 weeks of free agency we've had so far. I mean, the Eagles did sign somebody. They signed a quarterback today, a backup, camp arm, but still, like, they're still signing guys. They're still pretty, busy right now. They have cap space. We're waiting on a safety. We're waiting on safety. We're waiting on we're waiting right now on some a move for Reddick right now. I mean, I'm gonna have a big video on this whole situation and the and some of the trades that can get done. And we'll see how it goes, you know. I mean, within another week, I mean, or a few weeks, whatever it is, that's all they have. They have a few weeks left to get a trade done for Reddick and see what happens there. Let's see. Hold on. Ron says if I'd rather have Nolan Smith than Mozzie Smith. I feel like Mozzie's a bust. Oh, I mean, Mozzie didn't really do much. I mean, I at this point, like Nolan Smith got hurt a couple times. We didn't have a coordinator that even tried to play him. They played him like at the end of the year, like a lot of snaps at the end of the year. But I mean, Nolan Smith has done really much of nothing. But I don't think it's really his fault at the end of the day. You know, we'll see. You know, down the road. But apparently Nolan Smith is going to have a big role this year, from what the rumors of what Fangio thinks of him. So apparently he's gonna get a lot of reps. A lot of reps. The first round pick never really got too much playing time. It's unfortunate, but Luke says, so we were sending Reddick's ass back to Gannon. It could be, yeah. Could be. Rogue says, hey Joey, Philly Farmer wants to Prescott to stay in Dallas. I think it'll be great if they get rid of them next year, because they're gonna have to rebuild, trade us Parsons for a second round. Yeah, I mean, I think next year. I think Dak could be gone after next year. Because apparently, I think they're going to keep Reddick. If not, they're going to trade him in the draft, move the 22nd pick up, maybe to Atlanta's pick, and get a defensive end. He says Mozzie is a bust confirmed. He was drafted for one reason, to stop the run. He started and came in among the worst at stopping the run. They said, I think Pats would like Pickett. I think Kraft like small hands. They said, personally, I think we should draft the center from Oregon in the first and keep Jurgens at guard. I don't think they would have to go that far to draft a guy in the first round at offensive line, just because Stalin doesn't need to go in the first round draft an offensive lineman. He's a good enough coach to where you don't have to go so high for an offensive lineman. So I don't think they even go offensive line in the first round. Would it bother me? No, not at all. If they did that, I'd be fine with it, because this is why you don't have to spend money on free agent, offensive linemen. You draft guys well, and just keep doing this. Just let them keep doing their thing. Chop says, what do we benefit by having Nick Sirianni as our coach? He's just sitting duck at this point. He's gonna just be a hands-off coach. He's just gonna, and hopefully not get involved in the play calls. That's kind of all. That's the only thing I'm really worried about going to this year. I think when it comes to like being a player's coach, he's fine. But I think Kellen Moore could be set up to be the next head coach of this team. We'll see what happens in the future. He says, what do you really think about Paris Campbell? Campbell has a shot to start. I mean, he's got experience there. He didn't have a good season until like a couple years ago with the Colts. Didn't do anything with the Giants, obviously, because they were a mess. So I feel like there's a chance he could start, but do I think they're done at wide receiver? I do not. I feel like they're going to draft somebody this year. I have a feeling it's not over at wide receiver. It's not over yet. Brother said, we just drafted Nolan Smith last year. He's not a bust yet. He needs more playing time. Dagon Barrow says, why do people just dismiss Steen? Well, because I don't know why people would dismiss Steen. Steen and Matt Hennessy are going to be in competition for that right guard spot, and they're going to draft another offensive lineman most likely. It's going to happen, so just watch. So I wouldn't make a big deal out of that. I mean, Dean is just too raw right now. I mean, did he play necessarily well when he started a couple games this year, maybe a game? He was all right. He wasn't horrible, but he wasn't, think but like I said, he's just too raw right now. And plus he's playing on the right side, which he's usually a left tackle. They switched him to right side. And, I think another off season, and I would give it time. I think Tyler Steen's going to be a good player. I do. Juergens unfortunately has had more time under his belt, unfortunately, and just had the start in front of him, so that's just the truth. B says thoughts on Brendan Rice from USC. I haven't watched Brendan Rice at all. I'm just going to be honest. I haven't even watched Brendan Rice, so I have no idea. I couldn't even tell you about Brendan Rice. Rory said we don't need to get Jerry Rice on because I think he's a special type of player. He says Steen going to be swing tackle eventually, just behind some of all pros here. I feel like they should cross train him to right tackle. If he plays left tackle, cross train him to right tackle because unless we don't know what offensive lineman they're going to draft this year. So you need Lane Johnson's replacement. I think our right tackle is where they're at least going to try to go in the first few picks. Maybe. Jazz says Steen is a project, but he's still here, so Stout must like him. You can't call him a project. No. He was a high draft pick, wasn't he? As of now, even with him, I feel like it's not enough time, dude. It's just not enough time. Not enough time. LeBron says Keon Coleman to Dallas would be crazy. I hope he falls to us. Keon Coleman is like the little DK Metcalf of the draft. He's a pretty good player too. The problem is like Dallas got holes on the offense. They have 3 holes on the offensive line. They're gonna need a wide receiver. They probably need they need another defensive lineman. They need a run stuffer. They might need to add another linebacker, because obviously, Shoemaker ain't doing shit, and we'll see. Yeah, I think Dangon Barley says Steen is just inexperienced at guard. So I think that's just all it is. I don't know if Steen played right guard in college or switched to right guard because he was a left tackle at Alabama. So I'm not sure if he's even played on the right side, period. And I don't think he did. But it's a huge difference, no doubt. It's a huge difference. But we'll see what happens, but this is interesting news, a lot of stuff to talk about even tonight. So we'll see what happens. But we have 464 in the chat right now. If you guys haven't subscribed to the channel, please subscribe to the channel. We cover the Eagles every single day. We'll have another stream tomorrow in the afternoon, early morning, something like that. We'll have a stream tomorrow, so we'll talk about more things tomorrow. We'll have a stream tonight. The Philly Shakedown, we'll be streaming from both channels tonight. So definitely check out the stream. We'll be talking about pretty much everything that's happened this past week and a half since last week. Some of the corner signings, obviously some of the extra signings that we've had, and obviously this Reddick debacle news that's going on. So definitely subscribe. If you guys haven't liked up the stream, please like it up. I do appreciate it so much. It does help out the channel out a lot. We have 174 likes. Let's get over 200 likes. I appreciate it so much. We should have like 300 likes in this damn chat. So definitely subscribe up if you guys have it. And yeah, we're gonna be very busy. We're gonna be very, very, very busy because there's still a couple more moves going on. There's still a lot of things going on. So, we'll see what happens. We'll see what happens. So offensive line wise, yeah, they lost Jack Driscoll to Miami. Sua Opeta, I knew Sua Opeta was going to get signed to Tampa Bay Bucks, which was a good deal for them. He's been a very good, nice swing guard, can play both guard spots really well. So you lose two. Stalin is getting a lot of offensive linemen. These guys, they're getting some guys jobs right now. I mean, that's what he does. So the shakedown should be 8 o'clock tonight, 8 o'clock. A little bit, Philly's usually late, so it'll be like 8:10, 8:15 probably. Most likely. But we'll see. We'll see what happens. The says Devion Slay side needs to be drafted. We got a lot of boundary cornerbacks here to replace Bradbury. Yeah, and that's a whole nother question. The next question is like James Bradbury. What happens to him? What happens to James Bradbury? Like, probably nothing. It wouldn't shock me if Bradbury's still here because, he played under Vic Fangio as a consultant pretty damn well, but when you have a pass rush, it helps these corners. Probably helps Bradbury a ton. I don't think Bradbury even had too much confidence this year because he was getting beat, probably more than 5-10 yards from everybody. He couldn't even contest anything this past year, So it's been kind of crazy. So, other than that, I mean, I think that's gonna be it because we're gonna stream. I'm not gonna go a crazy another 2 hours because we're gonna be streaming tonight for at least an hour or two, and then we'll have a video out tomorrow on this whole situation. Check out the video I uploaded this morning or today at 1. I think it was like at 1 o'clock or 12:30. I uploaded it, so definitely check that video out today. And yeah, I think we're gonna be set. We're set. We got a lot more stuff happening. So. Jason Super Chat, thank you so much, man. Says I want Jaden Hicks, this draft safety from Washington. Haven't checked him out at all, but I see how much safety. I don't think the Eagles will have too much interest in safeties this year. So we'll see. We'll see. 8 o'clock p.m. shakedown, 8 o'clock p.m. Eastern shakedown. So that's where we're at with that for tomorrow. So yeah, I was gonna go longer, but we have another stream tonight, so I'm not gonna go crazy and stream for a lot because by the time I stream for another few hours, we'll be streaming again. So take a little bit of a break today, and we'll be back tonight, video tomorrow, stream tomorrow as well. Like I said, we'll have another one tomorrow, and we'll be ready to go. So. All right, you guys have a fantastic day. Make sure you like the stream and make sure you subscribe if you're new. Thank you so much, everybody. Definitely check out the video I did upload today. Make sure you check that out. And thank you so much, everybody, for joining up today. You guys have a fantastic day. I'll see you guys on the next one. Remember, shake, squat, follow, slide. Peace out, guys. Enjoy. Peace out.